What's happening, everybody? It's Todd, aka The Baked Runner, and my beautiful wife, Mandy.
Hi, I'm Mandy from Mandy's Healthy Life.
And our little cutesy Beaumont, and our other cutesy here, Kiri. So a lot of people have been talking about bone broth lately. It's super nutritious and an amazing superfood. But a lot of people don't know how it's prepared, how it's made. It's starting to show up in the health food stores now, which is great. But really making your own bone broth is just an amazing way to, get the highest quality and best tasting bone broth available. So what I'd like to do today is show everybody how we make our family bone broth. It's delicious and nutritious. We try to have it at least a few times a week. It's excellent. It has a lot of collagen in it. Collagen you may have heard of in a lot of anti-aging creams and stuff because it's been proven to help with the elasticity of the skin. What I love about bone broth is the collagen actually really helps promote repair of tendons and ligaments. And for an ultra runner like myself, the wear and tear on the joints and the ligaments and all of that is always something of concern. As well, it's amazing for the digestive tract and helps really heal the gut. So there's a lot of amazing benefits to bone broth, and you should really check them out. So basically what we've got here is we've got our slow cooker insert. So most slow cookers will have an insert that you can just pull out of them. And so that's what this is. Inside what we've got here is we've got a bag of bones. What these are grass-fed beef bones from our local health food store, Healthy Way. And they are thawed so that they're ready to go.
I was just counting how many were in there.
Yeah, there's quite a few. Usually, the bags are fairly consistent, but, depending on your slow cooker, what you want to do is kind of just, gauge what you need. Don't thaw them all unless you need them all, and go from there. So basically what we'll do is we'll start off, we'll just open up our bag of bones that's been thawing all night, and we'll just dump them into our dish here.
Are you making bone broth right now?
Yeah, we're making bone broth.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So basically what you want to do, don't be skittish. I know a lot of times people don't like to touch raw meat because it kind of seems a little bit gross, but hey, wash your hands after. And what I like to do, is just, put them in so that they're as flat to the bottom as possible, allowing a little bit of extra room for what we have next. So what Mandy and I do is whenever we're doing our salads and our veggies, our cut ends of things like cauliflower and broccoli, which in a lot of cases we just, used to compost. Now what we're doing is we're using this for our vegetable ingredients of our bone broth. The amazing thing is the bone broth is a liquid that people drink. But when you first make it, the meat that's left over on the bones and the fat, coupled with the vegetables, make an amazing meal. So you get this awesome, hearty, like a stew type of a meal. And then you get all of the liquid that you harvest in order to get, have that liquid bone broth as well. So it's really great. So once you get your bones kind of placed in the bottom and it's kind of squished down, basically just take your cut ends, and if you don't have any cut ends, when you're first getting into it, throw some carrots in, throw some broccoli. What else do you like? Ginger, garlic, sometimes onion, anything that you would like to have kind of in a stew is great. And what we do is we kind of cut these up a little bit, just to allow there to be, as much packed in there as we possibly can get. And so I just kind of throw everything in here. Some of the smaller pieces don't need to be cut up at all. They can just be placed in. Is he giving you a broccoli haircut or what?
Yeah.
Okay, so we just place all of these pieces in there so that they're kind of squished down a little bit so they're not pushing over top. We want to try to keep them under the water if possible. If they're poking up a little bit, it's not a big deal. And another thing that's really important is adding in some apple cider vinegar. So the apple cider vinegar helps to kind of break the bones down a little bit, gain some of the more of the nutrition, natural vitamins and everything out of the bones. So we just kind of add in usually a couple tablespoons. I'm not too picky on measuring. I kind of just give it a little bit of a splash, and that's all you really need. So after you do that, we use filtered water. You know, tap water can contain some things like chlorine and fluoride and other things that actually can harm your gut flora. So what we like to do is we like to buy reverse osmosis water. It's very easy to get. And then what we do is we remineralize it with Celtic sea salt. Because if you drink a lot of reverse osmosis water, what can happen is it actually can pull the minerals out of your body because there is no minerals or anything in it. I mean, all of the bad stuff's taken out, but all the good stuff is as well too with that type of watering system. So anyways, what we'll do is we'll add in now our water just on top of our meat and our vegetables. Oh, sorry, honey bun.
Oh. Did you get wet?
Yeah, she did get a little splash. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
So what I want to do is I want to basically fill it up. You know, we don't want it overflowing for sure while it's cooking, but you know, right up to as close to the top as possible is great. We really want to make sure that our vegetables are as covered as possible, and to make sure for sure the meat that's at the bottom is completely covered with water. So once we're done doing that, basically you're good to go. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. And now what you want to do is you want to put this on low on your slow cooker for 20 hours. So I know that's a long time, but this is sort of preparation for the next day's meal, and then as well, you know, harvesting the bone broth and everything from that point as well. So what we'll do is we'll put this video out, and then when we're doing our bone broth tomorrow, we'll do another video of just kind of what to expect once you get your bone broth and everything ready to go, and how to, you know, remove the bones and everything and harvest the actual liquid. So thanks very much. We'll see you guys next time. Woo!
Peace.
Bye.
Bye.
Hello, world.
You said low for
20 hours. Hey everybody, we're back. Day 2 of the bone broth. So here we go. We've had the bone broth on for 20 hours on low. So it's really hot and steamy here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this down. And so basically what you want to do is you want to have a few things ready when you've got your bone broth up. One is going to be a bowl for bones. This here is a pot for actually the veggies and the meat, so for our supper tonight. Then over here what we've got is we've got a strainer. So once we get all of the veggies and meat out and the bones out, we're just going to want to strain the bone broth a little bit just to get any chunks and everything out of our liquid bone broth. See that? And then what I've got here as well is a metal dish for the bone broth. Once I pour it from this container into here, really, I mean, something stainless steel or ceramic is best. When you put something as hot as this into something that's plastic, it's just a little sketchy. Also what I've got is I've got some mason jars here for our bone broth liquid once we're done. So basically, I'll just watch out there, Doogie, just because this is very, very hot. So basically, what I do, yeah, stand back is right. What I like to do is kind of tuck the pot underneath the edge here so that it catches the drippings. The bone broth liquid is very, very fatty, so it can really get to be a bit of a nuisance. So make sure you don't have anything around that you're gonna get ruined possibly. I've got my old running t-shirt on here because chances are I'm gonna get some splatters of fat on me here. So basically, there is a big chunk here of our cauliflower. So what I usually do is I just kind of fish it out, get 2 forks, and just start fishing out all the veggies on top. Once I get all the veggies fished out of here, then I'll be looking at trying to kind of scrape the bones a little bit and remove any of the fat, the marrow, or meat that could be still left on the bones. So it's kind of a little bit of a tedious process. Like I said, it's very hot and very fatty, the liquid, so you want to be really, really careful as you're bringing it out. See, here's a little kind of chunk of a fatty piece of meat, which is absolutely delicious. The nice thing is about the slow cooker is that it just turns meat, especially meat that would be really, really kind of like dense and chewy, into just soft, delicious, unbelievable meat. So I think that, you know, that partly has to do with the fact that it's going to be sitting in, you know, and boiling in this sort of, you know, mineral fat water that the bone broth starts to become once, you know, you get a few hours in of it on its boiling temperature. So yeah, so I'm just bringing these out. Whatever I kind of find, I kind of just put in its proper spot. There's quite a few bones here, big ones that are kind of floating up, so I'm just going to pull them out. You know, it's kind of interesting. Some people find it kind of gross, but I find it interesting to see what the bones kind of look like and the different, you know, things like a shoulder or, you know, a thigh or these different areas where you might kind of see a little bit of a difference and a little bit of a slide plate and all these kind of cool things. So, how's he doing?
He's good.
He's got some chopstick.
Nope, it's glue.
Oh, it's glue. He got the lid off or what? Yeah. Oh my god, I thought that was chopstick. Good thing if it was me, I would have just let him stuck on it for a couple of seconds. All right, so it takes a little bit just to kind of fish through. Like I said, it's really hot, so you got to be really, really careful. But you know, once you get all of your meat and your veggies out, then it's just a real quick pour into the mason jars. You can see, like, our bones that come, even though they don't look like they have a lot of meat on them, once it comes off the bone, it's actually amazing how much meat you get. A lot of the meat is very, very fatty, and that fat is really delicious, and it's also just packed with nutrition. You know, a lot of people are on the ketogenic diet now and talking about ketogenic diet. And basically, that's a higher fat diet. You know, we've been told for quite a few years that fat is you know, not good for you. It causes heart disease, all of these things. And now they're actually finding out that that isn't actually the case. You know, fats can be very, very healthy for you, especially healthy fats. And, you know, they're actually an amazing fuel source, a very dense fuel source. So, you know, someone who's on a ketogenic diet would just absolutely love this meal that you get when you first pull everything out. Because it's just amazing. Like, here's actually some rib bones, which is really interesting. And, you know, the meat that's around it is just absolutely delicious. So, I'm just going to pull those out. On the bones, you actually will find, you start seeing some little pitting and stuff like that, which is kind of cool. You kind of know that you're getting some of that dissolved right into the liquid. People talk about, you know, the benefits of bone broth, and I mean, you get a lot of like bone marrow and stuff like that in here. So that's really interesting. Bone marrow is packed with T cells. Which are excellent for the immune system and repairing things in the body. So it's really cool to know that you're getting a lot of nutrition and things out of bone broth and out of bones in particular that you would never normally get in your diet. So, okay, we're looking pretty good here. Oh, there's a little bone. Grab that guy. Okay, so now what I've done is I've basically separated my eating, my veggies, my meat away from my bones. So I'll just move my bones over here. I'm going to cover up my supper for tonight. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to take this bigger pot. Now because it's cumbersome and it's very hard to pour, what I'm going to do is I'm going to initially pour it into this bowl here. This bowl is excellent because it's very easy to pour out of. So, all right, here's hoping this goes okay. Usually I do this in the sink, but obviously it makes for a better video if I do it right here. Maybe. Let's see, be careful. Ooh. So, nice thing is with the strainer is you're going to get chunks that you don't want in your bone broth, but you also are going to get a lot of chunks, oh, watch out, that are actually what you do want. So there'll be some, definitely some pieces of meat still in there. A lot of the fat will still be in there. And so you kind of want to sift through it at this point and kind of see what you want and what you don't want. Be careful because some of the smaller bones actually can dissolve a bit and can be quite small. So you really want to make sure that you're not getting any kind of little bones in with your food, especially right at the end here when you pour this out. This is kind of when all of those little chunks and little pieces of bone can be hiding in the fat and the meat. So you just kind of want to check through it a little bit just to make sure that there's nothing there. And that's what I'm doing right now. So I'm just going to kind of scoop out what we want in our food and then leave the smaller pieces of bones. Now, what we really like to do, and we feel is very beneficial, is that we would like to do a second boil of our bones. Now, you're not going to get anywhere near the amount of collagen and some of the beneficial things in the initial bone broth, but there's still a lot of nutrition left in those bones. And so this bone broth here, from the initial one, is going to be, once it cools, is going to be very, very, almost like a jello, the consistency. So basically, that's going to be really high collagen levels, and it makes it really, really jello-y and stuff like that, which you'll know. The second one, once we do that, it's going to be more like the bone broth you buy in the store. It's going to be more liquidy. It's going to be, thinner, whereas this bone broth is going to be a lot thicker, and it's going to have quite a lot of fat that accumulates at the top of your jars. Alrighty, so now that we've got that done, I'm just going to move this here out of the way. And basically from here, what you want to do is you want to just be very careful and pour your bowl into your containers. And then after that, you're basically done. You've got your jars, and then you've got your supper for the night. So, do I dare do this up here?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, try. Give her.
Oh! Again, that's something that I normally do in the sink. For the video, we took the chance, and good thing, we're okay. It paid off. So, if you can, once that settles, we'll kind of be able to see a little bit more the fat layer that's on the top. The fat layer is amazing. We use it kind of like butter. We put it in with our rice primarily and some of our other things. And what we do is we wait until the stuff is done and we mix it in at the very end. Because you don't want to fry fat. When you fry fat, especially animal fat, it turns into trans fat. And trans fats is not a good thing. So if you can, try to keep your fat as raw as possible when you use it. And that way you're getting as much nutrition as you can and with none of the bad side effects of, like trans fat and things like that. So.
Do you want some more?
What has he got?
Cucumber.
Oh, nice.
He just wants the bone.
Yeah, he smells the bone broth. Alrighty, so basically, we're pretty much almost done. Now you're going to want to let your jars settle for sure for at least a few hours or a couple hours before you put them in the fridge just because they're really, really hot. And it's best to just let them kind of cool somewhere safe, away from the kids. And there we go. So basically, I don't know if you can see this, but it's kind of crazy. But this jar here, one of the ones, this is the fat line. So basically everything up from here is going to be solid white fat once this actually cools. And everything below is going to be just amazing, jello-y bone broth that is very difficult to find. Loaded with collagen. But the thing is this is the first one I poured. Now the second one that I poured, this is just the fat level here. So you get a lot off of this one. What I'd recommend doing is scooping that off and saving it in a separate jar. And then you can add some of the fat to your bone broth when you melt it. And, have it as a nice warm drink. We usually add some salt to ours. Sea salt or Himalayan salt is good. It just adds a lot of flavor and it makes it a real treat.
Unrefined sea salt.
Unrefined, yes, honey. Anything else that you have to add to this process?
Did you talk about how we scoop off the fat and then put it in the freezer?
I did, yeah. Well, I didn't say in the freezer. I just said scoop it off and keep it separate. But yeah, we keep ours in the freezer, but you could keep it in the fridge. One other thing to really keep in mind is that this fat layer will seal the bone broth from spoiling. So if you're going to use a jar at a time. And once that fat seal is broken, you really want to consume the rest of the bone broth within a week because it will start to spoil a little bit. So now basically these are going to be left right here to cool. We have an amazing supper here for the family, which is awesome. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just grab this back, take these bones that I've got, throw them back in here, put a little splash of apple cider vinegar again, and then fill this up with water. This time, because it's just the bones, I usually only do it to about 3/4 full, between half and 3/4. And then I put it back on the slow cooker on high this time for 20 hours. So basically you're going to cook out all of the nutrition that was missed in the first cook and really utilize the bones. And we always feel like it's really important to do as much as we can to really use everything we can to respect nature and to respect the life of the animal that we've taken to supply our life with nourishment. So I think that's about it. I hope everybody likes the video. We're going to come back with a kombucha video if everyone likes this video and we get a good response. And so everybody have a great night. Make yourself some bone broth. Once you start drinking this stuff, you get hooked. And after you start drinking it for, a month, couple months, holy moly, you really are feeling those health benefits.
For sure.
Hey?
We should have like a list of all the health benefits in the description. I can do that for you.
Okay, sounds awesome. And as well, you can always Google, health benefits of bone broth. There's so much information coming out right now. This is really kind of the next big thing coming up. So, jump on the train. And this one is a good one because it actually does, give a noticeable difference to your health and fitness regime. So, right on. Carrie, you want to say bye?
Bye.
You guys are coming over for a bye?
Bye. Thank you for watching.
Okay.
Bye.
See you next time.
Okay.
Alrighty. Thanks, Mom.
Hello, la.
Alola. Lola.
Hola.